welcome from Bryant Park, New York City, Midtown Manhattan. We have beautiful skaters behind us, the Christmas Fest at Bryant Park, and we are our first live in-office chat. We have Wenni Wu from Piermont Bank. How you doing, Wenni?
Hi, everyone.
How are things going?
So happy to be here, and still very honored to be the first.
Yes, you're the first from the office. It feels good, you know, after all the Zooms. Feels great to be in person.
Absolutely.
She gave me a nice little tour of the office. People are back mingling. It feels great. And Wenni is fresh from Italy, right? So
yes, I just come back.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, I had
nice and relaxed,
weekend.
and then thrown right back into the mix.
Absolutely.
Well, yes, Pyrmont Piermont Bank has been on our radar, or we've known of Pyrmont for a while now. Just from different sources, whether it's investment bankers or the BaaS industry or Fintech. You're doing some amazing things here. Could you give us like a little history of Piermont Bank?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are probably the only hybrid bank in the U.S. where we blend the traditional financial institution with fintech. We opened door in July 2019. This is our headquarters, so we're just a bit over.
And you helped design this, right?
Yes,
beautiful
as
open floor.
Part of the marketing, you know, we wanted to create a space that serve and reflect our brand and what we're trying to achieve. So we have a very you know, open office that doesn't look like a traditional bank office.
Yeah, I didn't see the cubicles.
Yes, we have an open layout where, you know, people collaboration is important for a startup. I'm sure, you know, a lot of you know, the fintech clients will agree that, you know, this is something that, you know, is very important, and this is also why we're back in the office. So we have also a hybrid working model where we are spending Monday to Wednesday in the office, and then Thursday and Friday people have the option to work from home.
That's right.
And this is to encourage a you know, cooperation for the teams, as well as allow flexibilities so people, you know, can enjoy, you know, some time to, you know, whether it's taking a little break to run some errands, or, you know, having some flexibility of not to commute into the city for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's I did that for years.
Yes, so
having Friday without having to go in the Penn Station is always nice. But do you feel the excitement back, the collaborative kind of culture coming back post-COVID?
Absolutely, and you know, this model is actually is as a result of COVID experience. But you know, we actually have the I would say that we have the luxury of being a digital bank. So in a very strange way, COVID actually validates our business model, where, you know, we were able to, you know, everybody, whether it's front office or back office, everybody was able to, you know, go remotely really quickly because we built it, you know, as a digital bank to start. Yeah,
and I read you were the first commercial bank, I guess, to receive a charter in New York State.
Yes,
since the recession, 2008, Great Recession. And you're woman-led, entrepreneurial-led, technology-focused. I know Wendy is your CEO, and how did that come about? I know you told me you were employee number one. Have you known Wendy for a while?
Actually, I've been working with Wendy for a pretty long time, and you know, I watched her building the bank, and it was a very interesting journey. You know, to be able to, you know, I think there's a big discussion out there right now. It's about, you know, whether a lot of fintechs are trying to get the bank charter, and as we all know, the bank charter process is very, very difficult.
Especially now, it's delayed, there's backups.
And you know, for us, we actually had a rather pleasant experience with our regulators and with
I don't hear that often.
Believe it or not, they, you know, I think that it's an interesting time where, since the financial crisis, there hasn't been a lot of new banks. And we are, you know, really looking at a sector, the small and medium-sized companies, as well as, you know, all the entrepreneurs, such as the fintech sectors, that they're being underserved.
Yes.
And Piermont Bank, we are started by a group of bankers that we all come from, commercial bankings with decades of experience, and that I think gives our regulators some comfort that we know
the game.
We know what to do.
Yep.
We know credit risk. We know how to manage overall, risk, and that's very important.
It's crucial. It's crucial to have a great relationship with regulators, but then for them to have the confidence, okay, they understand banking. And the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we were just talking before this, 45 million in assets at the end of 2019 to 164 at the end of last year. And as of September, 346 million in assets. So 45 million to 346 in less than 2 years. And I imagine it'll be even higher when the books close in December. So congrats on that. Really amazing. So how did this journey, I'm really amazed by your Fintech Partnerships. And we met in Vegas too, and Vegas was for Money 2020. I got the feeling, and I think you told me the same thing, there's a lack of BaaS partners out there for these fintechs. There's so many of them looking for partners that can help them, guide them, give them advice, but also get them up and running quickly, because you know how fintechs work. They're like, okay, when can we get going? And I know you partner with Treasury Prime. So how is that kind of from going from 0 to over 30 fintech partners in less than 2 years? How's that been? Is it because you were built to scale? Are you finding some issues that you can give advice to other banks, or?
Well, I think that there are three things that we think are maybe the biggest challenges that you will see in the fintech bank partnership. One is the speed to execute. I think that for a lot of the banks, the way they work and how banks are very structured, very institutionalized, and therefore there are specific process and procedures that needs to be followed. There are a particular way of how we do things, because for bankers, I think banks are mostly a risk management business to
risk
begin
adverse.
with. Yes, and so for us, I think and that's where we see the biggest difference is the speed to do things. For fintechs, everything should be done yesterday.
Yes.
Right. So this sentiment about what is considered fast, how do we deliver, how do we execute? I think that is a big difference between the banks and the fintechs.
Yes.
For us, because we are also a startup ourselves, so we understand what they are going through. And actually, before the bank opened, we spent months sitting down and trying to figure out how do we eliminate some of the unnecessary layers in processing. Because a lot of times when it comes to innovation, we don't look at innovation as just purely the technology piece. It's also how we innovate in the process and procedures.
Efficiency.
Because you can have the best technology, but if your process is antiquated, it's really difficult for you to execute and react as fast as your clients want. So for us, we really champion speed. The speed to respond, and sometimes it's even like get back to people. Timely, right? That's important.
Something as simple as that.
Communicate, on a timely manner, get back to people, and that's the culture that we champion here. And I think the second thing is that Pyrmont, from the beginning, we're just a bank that we champion technology, and we don't have the legacy system that most of the banks. If you look at the banks out there that are doing BaaS, most of them have to pivot. Right, they have to pivot from their existing business model. But for us, we are tech enabled since the beginning, so we don't have any legacy that from a technology standpoint that fintechs have to deal with. And that's why our integration with our partners, our API partners, they're very relatively smooth compared to integrated.
You were built for this. To be agile, to change with the industry. Because who knows? I mean, after Money 2020, I have no clue what's coming down the road. We got blockchain, we got AI. There's a lot of different things happening right now, crypto. But yeah, it was great to hear a bank say, why are we doing this? Come at it from that point of view of the consumer and just kind of asking, do we need this? Is this part of the process, or is this just impeding?
Correct. And I think the third piece is that we champion having that direct relationship with the fintech, because at the end of the day, when it comes to something doesn't work, when we have issues, it really lies with the bank. So having that direct relationship with the bank for us is important, and it's what makes a difference in the BaaS 2.0 versus just renting a chapter.
Gotcha.
Because when your customers are experiencing issues, when something doesn't work, at the end of the day, you have to deal with the bank.
Yep.
Right, because we own the products and the services behind it. We are the ones that needs to resolve those issues.
Exactly.
So having that working relationship from the beginning, it will help the fintechs, being able to resolve problems a lot quicker. Also, I think that for us, we are seeing this trend as we talked about earlier. During the Vegas conferences, that we're seeing BaaS becoming more and more penetrating into the different industry sectors.
Yes.
So having a bank partner that understands the industry sectors that you're trying to serve is very important.
Yeah, no.
And this also allows your bank partner and you to co-create products that make sense to adjust the customer's pain points.
So you're real partners. I mean, BaaS 2.0 is real partnership.
Correct.
We're in this together.
Yep.
We're going to work with you. We're going to make your product better. You're going to help us. And like you said before, BaaS maybe might have just been, hey, we just want your charter.
Right.
That's all we want. That's not what Pyrmont is.
No.
Yeah, you're here to make it smooth and also be with them as they grow and scale. And maybe you want to move into other product lines.
Yeah.
And speaking of other product lines, I know you came out with BankFi in October, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because now you're on the lending side. And is it just commercial lending or is it consumer lending?
We started with commercial lending because that's what we know how to do. For us, BankFi is a platform with various different credit products that we are basically customizing for each fintech, depending on what they need. So that's something that for us, we think that will really drive the difference for the next generation of BaaS.
No, that's great. And you've seen, I guess since October, have you seen a market, a lot of, and I was talking to another BaaS bank out in Vegas, and I was saying you're almost like the belle at the ball, because all these fintechs are trying to find a great partner, because they understand they partner with a great BaaS program or credit program that's going to help their company. Do you see a lot of, since the word's out on Pyrmont, a lot of fintechs reaching out to you directly?
Yes, we did. And for right now, the BankFi product, actually, we're doing a pilot. So we only started with existing customers who we have now built some working relationships.
Yeah.
And they have seasoned on our platform, so we know who they're serving, how they're serving the customer, what that transaction history looks like, what are they trying to do as the next step for their company. So we right now are only doing it in the pilot program, but we already have a pretty long list of fintechs lining up and trying to see how we can help them. Yeah, so that will be a big focus for 2022.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, built out of just a couple years old, very agile technology. I can see why you've grown so quickly with the fintechs, because they have that same mindset.
Yeah.
And now working together to make sure, hey, look, I'm not going to say no, but this is how we should structure this to make this work. That's fantastic. So what excites you about 2022 from the industry, but also Pyrmont?
Well, I think that for 2022, for Pyrmont, it's about execution. It's about how do we continue to expand our capability to better serve the fintech clients and the overall fintech ecosystem. So that will be one of the biggest focus for Pyrmont. I think 2022, from an industry standpoint, we anticipate to see more competition, and we expect to see some interesting, probably some interesting products and services that will be rolling out as well, that we're working on. So definitely excited.
It is an exciting time.
Yeah.
It's I try to keep up with most of the industry news, and sometimes I'm just like overwhelmed with everything I'm learning about. Just from everything we learned in Vegas, just walking around that huge room. But no, I'm so glad we had this chat. Pyrmont, like I said before, very well known in the sector, and it seems like you're doing some incredibly exciting things. So any advice for fintechs who want to partner with a BaaS bank, whether it be Pyrmont or another BaaS bank out there? Any advice on kind of, because there's going to be startups happening, they're going to be looking for somebody to partner with. Any like first step advice you would have for them?
Well, to me, I think that fintechs are good at the technology. They're good at the go-to-market. There are a lot of things that fintechs are a lot better than banks. And I think that for me, what I would say is that find a partner that align with your culture and what you're trying to achieve. I don't want to sound very self-serving, but I think that having that transparency and working relationship from the beginning is important, because I think that fintech that are doing this, they are here to stay. Right? They are here to grow and to scale. So having that partner that able to help support you and continue to have the right products and services in place on your product roadmap, that's very important.
Because they're evolving, and at the same time, Pyrmont's evolving.
Right. And
you're adding products. You're looking to improve.
We are also continue to expand and hiring. So,
hiring.
We love to, see, if you have any good candidates to send our way.
Yes, we'll talk after about that. But no, it's a very hot market right now. I mean, as you know, it's not just the community banks or the BaaS banks. You also have the digital banks and the fintechs and the reg tech and legal tech and whatever else is out there, insurtech. I feel like everything is tech now or as a service. But it's exciting. I mean, I've only been in this industry as a recruiter for a couple years, but my colleagues who have been in it for 15 or 20 years saying they've never seen this before.
Right.
And it's really amazing, and it's so fantastic to see banks like Pyrmont who are looking at this from the perspective of the fintechs, who are thinking quickly and moving quickly, but also understand it's a regulated industry, highly regulated. There's a lot of compliance, and there's going to be more compliance, more regulatory coming down the road.
And so, that's what we see where the value add is, where the bank's value add is. It's precisely the compliance. We know how to, build the compliance platform. We know what needs to be done, and we are there to help the fintech to get there. And that's, I think that compliance, unfortunately, with the 2008 financial crisis, compliance has become such a big part of banking. And, a lot of places do not see compliance as that integral part of their business. Oftentimes, I think fintechs or, even some banks take compliance sort of as an afterthought. And that shouldn't be the case. And for us, it is how we manage business, and we don't see it as a burden, or we're not here to create more problems or having more hurdles for you to jump over.
You're trying to make it as easy as possible with the rules that are outlined by government agencies.
Correct.
Which can change quickly. So you have to be in tune with kind of what's happening.
Right.
Especially with new regulations for crypto and blockchain and wherever else it's going to go. Having a partner. So compliance is always, don't bother me until like something happens, and then your product is shut down or you're delayed. So compliance is crucial, and risk. compliance and
I have
risk.
to say we're fortunate that our compliance team here really are business friendly, and they have the mindset that we're here to help. We're here to guide you through how do we mitigate risk.
Yep.
And that's also how we are able to do a lot of the more, I wouldn't call them high risk, but more innovative sectors that we're able to do.
The top compliance and risk candidates we speak to always say, I'm not going to say no, I'm going to say this is how we should do it. So, and that's great. You want to be flexible, you want to make sure you're following all the rules and regulations, but you don't want to just say no, that can't be done.
Right.
Because, as you said before, innovation is happening so quickly, you want to make sure you have a partner who can be as agile as the fintech.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much. This has been great.
Yeah.
It's so great to be in the office. I feels like everything's coming back. New York is alive again.
Absolutely, tourists is back.
Yeah, tourists are back. Fintech is booming, and it's going to boom next year. So if you're looking for a partner, I'll connect you with Wenni. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
And have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yay.